Ksenia and Miriam mean everything to each other. When war came to their home near Odessa, Ksenia took her daughter and left.
I fled the war, so my child didn't see any violence, but we experienced it here instead.
The pair came to the US via a sponsor. There is no automatic right of asylum for people fleeing war. Ksenia had followed thousands of others online to find that sponsor. The system for Ukrainians offers 2 years residency if a refugee has certain financial guarantees from a US citizen. She thought she'd got lucky when she got a reply from a woman in California.
She said she could support us financially for a year, and in that time she would teach me programming and then find me a job in her company. It sounded great.
Ksenia left the war with Miriam, who was 2, and moved in with her sponsor family. But she tells me she soon noticed her daughter seemed scared of the woman who'd taken them in. One day, she heard her scream and found her with the woman.
She was pushing my girl into a cupboard and was holding her hand over her mouth and nose. My little one could hardly breathe. I saw her terrified eyes, which were begging for help.
The 2 women argued, and after a few days, the American woman threw them out. Ksenia had $60 in her pocket and nowhere to go. They ended up in a shelter. Katya Moiseyeva and her colleagues have helped more than 1,200 Ukrainian families find places to stay since the war began. Katya says about 10% of them have been abused or forced into sex or unpaid work.
We had
one family who ended up in forced labor. The man they lived with was aggressive. He shouted at everyone, was violent, and had a gun. He withheld their documents and they felt unsafe. The family cleaned his whole house. We've also had cases where I had to call the human trafficking hotline.
She says most sponsors really want to help, but it's impossible to know how many are abusing refugees. Authorities say they check all potential sponsors, but they wouldn't tell DW what these checks look like. Ksenia is one of an untold number who had a problem and felt unable to get help from officials.
Lots of people have asked me why I didn't go to the police. It's because this woman scared me from the start. I was intimidated. I thought she's a US citizen and I'm not. She has connections here and money, and I had absolutely nothing.
Miriam is safe now. Ksenia is thankful for the help she got in California. She's looking for a job so they can leave the shelter and be independent.